Tony Peterson here for Top 5 Rock Lists, and today I'm out on a job. This is kind of what I was planning on doing with this YouTube channel, was kind of take you out on my daily activities and go over my rock lists at that time. So today what I'm going to do is, hopefully you can hear me. I'm at somebody's house in their home. Today I'm going to do top 5 rock artists from the 50s. Having Little Richard died just recently, and I've been spending a little bit of time with his music, and made me kind of decide that maybe this isn't a topic I would like to work on a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with number 5 on my list. Now this is the 1950s, so there's not a lot of bands. It's a lot of individual acts. The Beatles brought the bands to the forefront. So in the 1950s, there's a lot of individuals that wound up being the most popular artists. So number 5 on my list is not an individual, but it's darn close. It's the Everly Brothers. And I just feel like the Everly Brothers, probably, as far as harmonies go, rock and roll harmonies, everybody wanted to do what the Everly Brothers were doing in the 60s. Anybody who was doing any kind of pop music, the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, they were all wanting to do what the Everly Brothers were doing. And my favorite Everly Brothers song is probably Kathy's Clown. Love it. So number 4 on my list is Little Richard himself. Yeah, I spent a lot of time, as I said, listening to Little Richard in the last week or so. And like I told somebody this week, you could put on that first Little Richard album, and I don't care where you are, who you are, how old you are, it could turn into a dance party. That was some serious rock and roll. He changed rock and roll. He brought all the attitude to it. He flamboyancy. I mean, the idea that what was popular previous to him was all white bread stuff, and then people were stealing his songs, and it would be weeks after he released it, and they were out recording one and releasing a white bread version of it, just because America wasn't ready for a flamboyant black man back then. Number 3 on my list is Buddy Holly. Probably the best songwriter of the 50s in my mind. He made you realize that you could write your own songs, sing your own songs. And the other thing was that he he developed that multi-guitar band type system that everybody used after that. Number 2 on my list is Chuck Berry, and he didn't do all that multi-guitar thing, but Chuck Berry, for me, was probably the first guitar hero. So he's my number 2. And number 1 on my list, you know what? I'm going to switch that around. Chuck Berry is number 1 on my list. Number 2 on my list is Elvis Presley. See what happens when you don't work with a list. For me, Elvis, he had everything, except I'm a guitar guy, and that's why I decided to go with Chuck Berry as number 1. I don't want to make this too long because, as I said, I'm trying to be quiet. I don't want to interrupt anybody, and I don't want anybody thinking I'm some kind of strange guy cleaning windows and talking to himself. So this is Tony Peterson for Top 5 Rock Lists, signing out.